Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. I'm super happy today to have my good friend Sibyl Harmony here. We're going to be talking about past lives, and we're actually going to explain why it's important for you to understand the concept of your past life and why it's important that you understand how that energy might be interacting with you right now. So let's get started. Thanks for coming on, Sibyl. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm delighted. I'm so excited to be here with you. This is really amazing topic. I love talking about this and looking at this and seeing what past lives people had. It's going to be really fun.
It's so going to be fun. And we were just chatting before we went live. And Sibyl's such a great teacher, you guys. If you're not familiar with her, please check out her YouTube channel, Sibyl Harmony. Check out her website, Sibyl Harmony. Everything is down in the description. But you guys really check out her work. She's a very powerful healer and a psychic medium. She's written a book that I really recommend. So she's a great teacher. So she was just telling me about past lives, and it just made me remember how important it is, how actually it really does impact our lives. And I just don't think we give it enough importance or credence. So could you just tell us a little bit, Sibyl, about past lives in general, or explain that concept to us? Like, why would we care about our past lives in this current life?
Yeah, because when you know who you are, it's empowering. It affects past lives. I think you froze a little. Okay, there you are. Past lives affect our relationships, our finances, our health. I used to work on people, do table work, and I started seeing their past lives, why they had a certain issue. And then in my readings, I when somebody comes in with a relationship issue, children, parents, these are things that we came in to learn, that we may have, past life connection or karma from a past life. And when you know that, it's so empowering. It also has to do with what kind of guides you have, which we'll explore more in the class that we're doing this weekend, which I'm really excited to do. But most past life is believed was in the original esoteric messages from the beings that brought us all major religions on this planet. It was taken out of Catholicism and Christianity and Judaism. Hindus still believe in past lives, and Buddhists believe in past lives. But it's kind of like, so if that was taken out, it's kind of like we don't know who we are, and then we come in here and we forget. And when we start to wake up, we start to remember, or some of us have flashes as children. We may have had flashes where we're in a familiar place, or you meet someone, you feel like you look in their eyes like, I know you, or I know I'm so, or we have a dream of a place that we used to be, or we think, maybe as kids, we looked up at the stars and wondered, like, when are they coming to get me? I don't like this place. So, that's because we really aren't from here. We haven't been told really who we are or why we are here. And the sense is that they may be changing that, but it kind of spoils the game. If you come in and you already know who you are, then you can go on a journey to discover who you are, or why you're here, who you've been. But I found it really empowering. I started doing past life regressions, and it just, when you knock on that door, it starts to open up for you. And I saw that I was a healer that worked in pyramids, that put my hands over people. And that was like years ago. And I thought, I could never do that. Well, I kind of do that. I mean, it's like, I've been a mermaid. I was a Knights Templar. I remember Lemuria. I used to remember as a child, and even as a teenager, I would get these flashes, but I didn't know what they were. So you may have gotten those, or just this feeling of like I said, like somebody, or like you've been to this place, or you want to go to this place, or these are the things that you love, or fears. You could have phobias.
Yes.
Phobias, like I have phobias from being, with sharks and water. I'm like, nah, I've been there, done that. I'm not doing that again. So it's a great way to clear phobias. I mean, it's so important to know who we are.
Yeah.
There are different soul groups that we come from, and we'll be going into that more in the class. Different, like, are you like what planet? Sometimes past lives are on other planets. So you may have this feeling of like, I don't belong here, but where am I from? And really, we're all from Creator, Source, the great central sun. But you may remember and have fond memories of the place that you were most recently at. And you may also be dealing with issues in this life, whatever the issues are, or things that are, kind of push at your buttons or seem challenging. Those are issues that have patterns usually in past lives. And when you recognize that, like I was in a relationship when I was really young with this guy and my family, and everybody was like, dump that guy. And I was like, oh, you don't understand. He's my soulmate. I couldn't. And like whatever he did that was awful, I was like, oh, until I realized that I had made a vow in a past life when he was injured to never leave him and always take care of him. And I was like, oh my God. So sometimes we've taken vows of poverty, vows of celibacy. So, or vows of, we've learned different ways of how to be of service or how to be in the world that might have worked back then. Like if you're in a monastery and you have no credit card, no rent, nothing is, no credit score.
No.
You could take a vow of celibacy because they took care of everything. You just work in the garden or the kitchen and then you're of service. But but this doesn't work today. And then people wonder like, why am I stuck? Why do I keep doing this? Why am I, maybe you spent, if you're an older soul, you've had, or any soul, you might have had difficult lifetimes. Or some people feel really sensitive and empathic because they just really aren't from here. They're from places where we don't understand violence. We don't understand the competition and the greed here. And we've come here to be of service. And whether you're doing what we do, or you're a, teaching, or you're a therapist or a doctor or a nurse or something, or you're a grandmother, being a light and a source of support for your family, or you're just by being here in your energy, because you're a highly evolved, more empathic, sensitive soul, you are helping to shift the energy, and it's all needed here. But some of us may wonder, like, why did I, how did I get here, and why, and who am I? And so that's what I want to help people look at today. If does anybody have any questions about that, or did you have any questions about that? Or I know you do amazing readings with past life, or you've done them, because I heard people have told me, oh, Susan told me I was in a past life. I've heard.
Well, it just whatever comes up, right? You know what I mean? For me, it's like whatever your spirit guides need to share with you, that's what they're going to share with you. And like you said, sometimes the past life is the thing. That is the thing that you really are tripping over right now. Yeah. Other times your past life is just not really, it's like supporting cast. It's not really a main character in your life. But I thought it was fascinating.
I have to say that I'm going to tell on you.
Oh, shoot.
I think you are here doing what you've done in a past life.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely themes. I've uncovered lessons that I'm in right now that I tried to learn in a past life. So I'm hoping that I get a better grade this time.
Yeah. Well, it can be hard for us because if we live through other times, like when the conquistadors came and took over the Mayans, wink, wink. Yeah. And we remember that on a soul level, and then we're like, okay, now I'm going back and do it again, and now it's the Magas or something,
Right.
So there's patterns there. You've done this before, and it can make us feel really passionate. And a lot of times, past life, and there's nothing to be wrong or healed about that. It's just that you've done this before, and like calling all hands on deck and excuse me, Susan, would you mind going back there one more time? Oh no, I've been there, done. I'm not gonna. oh, we really need you. Would you please come back? Well, I can. Okay, all right, one more time. So here you are doing it again.
Here I am in this
Yeah,
crazy.
so a lot of
crazy
times
time.
when we're of service, we've done this before. You were needed here to do this, and we're all needed. Whether it's you're just you're helping
no
your
accident.
puppies,
It's no accident. There's no accident that you're here right now.
Yeah, and you are needed. It's all hands on deck just by being in your vibration. And the past lives that are coming up for you are usually things that have to do with this current life. Like it isn't just, it's fun to kind of sit there and go, oh yeah, I was a fairy floating around, or I was a butcher. Sometimes there's famous people who I've read that have famous lifetimes.
Nice.
And what can happen, like, there's nobody here who's like Jesus. Okay. So that's not, but there are people who are aspects of who have seen him or even worked with him in past lives.
Yeah.
And that's so true. I've had somebody who was, what was that? Mona Lisa. She was Mona Lisa and she looked like it. And she knew that she had been the Mona Lisa and the one that was painted. So not the painter, but the one who was painted. And so, like I see Biden as a statesman with a lot of it looks like Greece. He has a white robe and this gold and a lot of gold light around him. And he's been passing laws and helping people and coming here for a long time. And his soul was picked to be here during this time that we're going through now to save our country. And so that's another theme. It's like you came in, you've done this before, and here you are again. So here he is again. So he was designed for this. When I look at the ex-criminal convict, I don't even like to call him 45 anymore because I feel like he stole that too. Sorry, don't let me start it. But when I look at him, I see past lives with like some type of executioner or gladiator type energy. And I also see him as Caligula. Mm-hmm. That's now maybe other people have seen him. So you've had hundreds, thousands of past lives. You had past lives where you were in before this planet was formed, where it was the realms of fire, water, earth, and air. So you may remember, I remember like swimming around in the ocean, just being like, woo, floating around. So I'm very connected to water and like mermaid energy. I'm a very old soul, so I'm very much from places where they have like castles and magical things, and I always have to wear a costume and some big jewelry. So, but I remember, just to bring it back to more current, I was in this, I had invested some money. My husband at the time invested money. I invested money with this guy's business, and some of my friends did too. And I was the only one he wasn't paying. And I'm like, why is he not paying me? I don't understand. And I would talk to him and he'd be like, yeah, well, he always had a reason or avoiding me. I'm like, okay, what is going on here? And I tuned in. I was just learning how to do energy work, and or psychic work, and I tuned into my guides, and they said, well, he was a Roman and you were a Bodokai. And who's Bodokai? Bodokai was the leader of the Encinas, a goddess group culture in Europe. And the Romans came over and enslaved them, and they really didn't like them. And so the minute he saw me, he was like, yeah, I don't like you. And I knew something was wrong, but I didn't follow through with my hunch, because my husband said, oh yeah, it's cool. He's paying me. He's paying everybody. It's okay. So I was like, okay. Well, no, it wasn't okay, because he just did not like me. And so I ended up getting my money back anyway, but I had to go through this whole big thing. But it really does affect our current lives. And then I had this girlfriend, and I was telling her, oh, you never guess what happened. I figured out the reason he's not paying me, that guy that I invested money with, is because I was Bodokai. And she said, no, you're not. I was Bodokai. And I was like, what? I'm like, okay, you were Bodakai. Maybe I was Bodakai's assistant or something, or because there were a lot of them, and maybe it was just somebody like that or something.
Oh my God, that's
so
funny.
it's funny when people, when we get connected to, and we can be connected to, part of either connected to a famous person, or what a great energy for somebody who's really strong and powerful to spread their spirit out to a whole bunch of people, or to many people. And so I just was like, okay, maybe you were Bodakai. It's okay. I don't need to be Bodakai. but I still learned from the whole
experience. Yeah, the whole experience.
It's how it affects our lives.
That is fascinating. That's fascinating, Sibyl. If you don't mind, let's do a few readings.
Yeah. And now I'm going to be looking over to my side sometimes because I'm looking at a full image of the person. So if you wonder, like, why is she looking over there? That's why.
Okay. So I'm going to start off with, we have, like 500-600 people. We're not going to be able to read 600 people, but I'm going to just pick some people. And I picked Emily because today's her birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh, cool.
Her birthday is July 1st, 1998. And her picture this is you, right, Emily, on this picture. It also helps us to have a picture, but we're going to do the best we can. And while, just put your birthday in there, whatever. And if you have a question, that helps too, right? But Emily, let me see if I can see your picture. Okay. So if you can also just be ready to jump in the chat because we might ask you a question. Okay, Emily? Happy birthday, dear.
Happy birthday. Yeah, I'm already getting something from her.
Yeah, me too. By the way, Emily, you have cat energy. Now, I can't tell. I'm sorry. I just go wherever I go. But you have cat energy, like your animal totem might be cat, or there's cat energy. You might not even like cats. You might even be allergic to cats. It doesn't matter. This is energy. Okay? So there's some energy around a cat to you. What do you want to go ahead, Sibyl, or are you still calling up all the information?
I'm seeing that one of your most recent past lives was very spiritual. I feel like you were in some sort of a group or a temple, and I see you wearing like this blue long dress, something on your head, and like a scarf wrapped around your head. But I feel like you were in this place where you dissolved your ego. It was all about service. And I feel like you were nurturing and helping people. You might have had something to do with feeding people, or because I feel like there's this big liquid and you're handing bowls to people. And that may also be a symbol of you're assisting people. But I definitely see the cat energy with you. And I feel like sometimes you're so spiritual that you always go for the spiritual. And it's also a good idea to like organize your house or your office, do those things, because it'll make you feel better and more clear about what you're doing. You definitely help people kind of be more analytical. I feel like there's also a connection with cats and with birds. I'd like to see your eyes if they have a greenish tint. You may be connected to, can you see her eyes?
No, but brown or hazel.
Maybe connected to Lyran, the planet Lyran. Yeah.
That has something to do with cats too, doesn't it? Don't the lions have something to do with cats?
And birds. Yeah.
Yes, they're brown. Her eyes are brown. Okay. So look up Lyran, Emily. That's a whole nother thing. What are Lyrans known for? What do you know, Sibyl? Because she's like a freaking encyclopedia, Sibyl is.
Well, there are a lot of planets. The most common place that souls are here from are the Palladians. I'm Palladian, but I've been coming here for a long time. I feel like you've had like maybe how many thousands lives? Me? Like maybe I'm talking to Emily, maybe 5,000 lives.
Wow.
Very much in this here or other places. But so Lyran is a planet where souls come from. They're very fearless. They do their life purpose. They don't understand why people are afraid to speak up and do their things. They're really here on a mission. They're very advanced. And they are sometimes connected with birds or cats. Their eyes can be green. Yeah. So I'd be curious to know if she connects with any of that or does she have any questions about that?
I think it's interesting because the cat, you were just talking about her being very spiritual, and cats can be, a familiar. Cats can be a link to the spiritual world.
I have cats.
Yeah, she has cats.
Yeah.
She has cats. Her eyes are brown, but I feel like my eyes are brown, but they're just almost hazel, like almost hazel, So I feel like your eyes, I don't know. There could be some other thing going on there.
Okay. And let me ask, what? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Let me ask, I would also want to know, like, have you ever seen a guide as somebody come to you? So that's a clue. And then if she answers that, and then the other thing is, would she say, like, if she was at a museum and there was a rope, you can't go across this rope, would she say, and I don't think she'd say this one, I'm going to cross the rope because they can't tell us what to do and it'll be fun.
I love this.
I always follow the rules and I will walk all the way around and not cross the rope. Or the third option is I'll cross the rope only if I feel like it makes sense, not because I'm going to break the rules because it's fun, but just that it doesn't make sense. That might be wrong.
It's third. I vote third. I vote 3.
You're third?
So, I vote she is 3.
This sounds accurate to me.
Cross the rope if she's very connected to birds, she says. I feel like she'll cross the rope if there's a reason for it. Like if there's a real reason for it.
Okay. But, so that means you're an older soul. That means you're here to co-create. You also have healing abilities. There's something about, now what I mean healing is you're absorbing the energy in your family because you're empathic and you maybe just don't feel good and you don't know why. You're a nurse, you're a therapist, you're a coach, a teacher. So somebody who's here in the service of, like, you want everyone to be happy and feel good and you're trying to help. That kind of energy. You don't have to be a healer. That's like, with a title, but I do feel like you pick up other people's energy and you may wonder, like, what's wrong with me? Well,
right. She gets it before anybody else gets it.
Yeah.
But I think you can also be a little impatient with people because you get things so quickly. Hope this helps. You. Emily. What's that?
That's you too. You get things very quickly.
Yeah. No, that's me too. I hope that helps, Emily. So yeah, let's move on. Let me.
I need a birth date. It helps.
Yeah, a birth date helps because it's hard to get your energy when there's almost 700 people here. Well, while I'm finding somebody, what does this say? Colleen O'Brien says, I'm curious to learn how similar or different this might be compared to the old Realm Reader course, the Earth Angel Realms book by the former angel lady. You know who I mean.
Yes.
You know what she's talking about.
I studied with her, and there's a lot of updates and guided meditations I do, past life regressions. So I studied with people who studied under Dolores Cannon. But so this is very similar to that. And that's an excellent book that you can get to read about the realms. So I'm studied and I know about that. But there's more. Okay. There's newer things that have come up.
Do you know Doreen Virtue? I'm wondering if she's talking about Doreen Virtue.
Yes, that's who she's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I studied with her. I used to go to all her classes. So that is, yes.
Because you mentioned Dolores Cannon. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were.
So Dolores Cannon is somebody that Doreen Virtue studied.
Okay, got it. Okay. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Lady of the Black Lake. That's a cool name. Why am I getting a blockage in my career from reaching the top in this life? Name is Rose, born April 26, 1966. Yeah, that's a past life. You're right. That is a past life little problem. I mean, it's manifested in this life too, because it manifested in your childhood. Your
Right.
childhood was the same freaking energy as this past life. You want to do you got it? You want to jump into it?
No, you're right. You got this. It is so. Whatever happens in our childhood, we choose to come in with people that we have karma with, or that we're going to learn the same lesson that we have been, whatever lesson we're working on. Okay, let me say it like this: the lesson we have been working on, and then that's going to show up in our career. So there's something about her childhood that matches her career. Like if you were treated like you couldn't do it, even if they didn't say it, they projected that onto you, like you're not good enough, you don't really know what you're doing, you can't manage it. Somehow there's blocked you. It feels like there's some kind of control cord in her third chakra. So that's where I would go with it. And once that cord is released, I feel like that will help her. And to end karma, there are ways that you can end karma. And so that will help release you from that block. And I also feel like this is the same person or people that you were with in a past life, where do you ever feel like you do everything and you're the support person and you got this person and you're there for them, and they're not really recognizing you?
Yeah, that's what I just put it on the screen. She was treated less than the men in her life.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
It's kind of like this energy of being like pounded down. Like, don't,
Okay.
like I think as a child, you could be expression. And I think you were a cute, happy child. And that caused them to push you down. Don't stand out. You think don't be a big, they just didn't want you to be big. That's it. They didn't want you to be big. They didn't want you to have any kind of attention to yourself. So now what can we tell her about her career? Because she's like, now I get so high, probably because, men, it doesn't even need to be men. I think right now there's a woman blocking your career. But you said cut the cord to the third chakra.
It's in her, it's on her head. You're right. It's pushing her down. And so if I could see a picture of it, so it feels like there's a past life in prison, because I feel like the body's a little compacted.
Yeah.
And when that's this energy that pushes you down. So these are people who've been in prison in past lives. And what's happened is you had your essence, your freedom stolen from you. But what can happen with your parents is they can take your essence. So you don't really get acknowledged for who you are or the things that you create. It's more like, well, be like me, or that's not really good enough. And so there's this repression that happens, and that can make a person really angry. And then I feel like it's affecting not a medical diagnosis, but it's affecting your third chakra and your liver from this energy that's pushing her down. And yeah, there it is. I keep seeing it. They said so this happens with me even when I was going to ask, you want me to do a healing on her, but this happens when it just like happens in the reading. And so the guides are already taking to remove that, because much of the healing is certainly just about being aware of like, wow, that's affecting me, because the liver is about anger or depression or sadness. Are you getting a chill?
Yeah, no, because it's right. It's right on the money. It's right on the money.
Yeah. So let's just kind of go in there and finish it all. There we go. Woo. Ugh. It just feels a little sluggish. Now you're getting a healing from this.
Nice.
So we're all getting a healing from this.
We're all getting a healing from it.
Yeah, because we've all been like under this male suppression, losing our rights and patriarchal stuff. So that's the theme of the time here. But there we go. Yeah. Okay, that looks better. So Archangel Michael just came in. So yeah, I do I do similar work as who did we talk about? Oh, Dorian Virtue. But I don't do her really work. I do similar work to Dolores Cannon too, because I find the unconscious reason of why something is there. And if that doesn't get removed, you can, therapy can help. It can be really helpful, but we also want to clear the energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what can you tell her? Because I feel like I want to close this out. I want to say you really need to drink some water, but I also, for some reason, maybe I'm feeling like something red, like pomegranate juice, or what is that stuff? What is that red juice? Something red, not tomato. Cranberry. They want you to drink pomegranate or cranberry juice. I don't know if you like those, but for sure water. And look, when you were a kid, you didn't want to be suppressed. So what you did was, some people would have just been like, pounded down. What you did was you went down and you went to the side. You're like scooted out to the side and went out that way. Like you either left town, you left your family, you did something different. You were like, I'm not going to be imprisoned the way Sibyl saw you be imprisoned. So, in my opinion, the same energy exists right now with your job. If you're getting blocked, honey, it's the same damn energy of all these things. What did you do before? Go to the side, go around the obstacle, squirt out the side, find your opening and take off. There's no reason for you to be held back. Zero reason. You're just following into the same energy pattern.
Yeah. Another thing you can do is stamp your foot on the floor and say, I release this karma in all time and directions. And just recognize when
please.
What? Recognize when, like, oh, this feels familiar, because we can go unconscious to being controlled. Definitely. And it isn't like getting into a battle with them. That's not, it's an inside job. It's like, wow, I'm not going to let this affect me. And then when you release it, then it won't bother you so much, or another job will come, and then you'll be like, oh, okay. And when you let it go, then the new job, something else will, because there's no reason for you to be there anymore. So this is very much of like, it's not just some airy fairy like, hey, who was I in a past life? It's very much affecting you on all areas. Yeah. So becoming aware and awake and conscious of like, oh, that's the control energy. And don't get in, you don't need to go into resistance or fighting this, because what you resist persists. Like, they did it to me and I'm going to.
Yeah.
So
no, I see
that is a big waste of your energy. So the more you kind of get neutral to it, recognize it, and just go, yeah, I'm just going to let this go, breathe it out, and take back my power. So your power, instead of going, don't leave, don't go to the side and leave. I mean, if you had to escape prison, you're going to go somewhere you need to go. But now you're not in prison in this life. So come back and own your power right here in your belly, above your belly button. Own your power. Ground yourself. And you're very strong. You're powerful. And the power is it's an inner energy. And then when people see you coming, they're like, oh. Now they may try to push back on your, like, is she going to, let's poke around, like, can we chill, can we move over? No. And they're not conscious. Like, if you tell them don't do that, they're like, what are you talking about? What are you, crazy? I'm not doing anything to you. But it's the energy. So it's just the energy, and it's teaching you to take back your power and your freedom, and that you don't need to be stuck there.
Awesome. Thank you, Sibyl. Here's an interesting one. And best of luck to you, Rose. I think your name was Rose, Lady of the Black Lake. Best of luck, dear. All right. Here's a very interesting one. The Gutsy Guru, born May 8th, 1954. May 8th, 1954. Here's the thing. Jean and Jane, identical twins. I am her full-time caretaker. Her tragedy became mine. I feel resentment because everyone wants to know how she is, but no one asks me at all. I do it all. You know what I don't understand is, are you one of the twins or are you an external person taking care of this? Are you like external, not family? That's what I don't understand with your question. Maybe you could answer us. But while you stomp your foot and say, I release the karma in all directions of time. Okay. But we can tune in. Yes, you are Jane. Okay, great. Mirror twins. Okay. I don't know what that means, but it's important. Okay, so she's one of the twins and she takes care of her other twin and she's invisible. Basically, what she's saying is that I'm invisible. Nobody cares to know how I'm doing, and yet I am the caretaker. That sounds 100% like a past life issue to me.
Yeah. So you have karma, or Jane, you have karma with somebody. Was this your mother? Interested to know about your relationship with mother. But
there's
you have
something with mother.
There's family karma, and I feel like you hadn't separated before. So in this life, you're meant to separate and take back your power. Like when I look at your energy field, you're grounding. It's like you're grounded, like here's you, and then she's in there, like in your space, totally like energetically in your space.
Yeah.
It's almost, yeah. And so, yeah, so this is, I'm not saying it's easy, any of these things, but that's why we chose to come in and do it. But you can do it, it's doable. And so separating yourself and boundaries, but I feel like you need a energy shift here. And so how, yeah, she's older. Okay. So, this is not going to happen overnight. I can't just like pull somebody out of there, but you can do this by setting boundaries. Let me see what they say. Yeah, you can do this by setting boundaries, and so you have an energy field, you have a self, she has a self with her very own aura, her very own spirit, which can be. It's so I've had that before with like friends or something that just kind of glom onto you, and then everything is about them, and not like this, but similar. But yeah. So yeah.
So here's further about that. We did an infinity symbol, so I would carry the load because she is dying. Been in hospice for 23 months. Okay. You're still carrying too much of the burden. Okay. So this is, I saw exactly what Sibyl was saying. So basically, you have your own aura. Everybody has their own container, right? And she's all up in your container. It's almost like she's in a fetal position, like she's almost like a child, like she's become a child in your body, and that's not exactly how you caretake someone, right? Like there should be a little bit more separation. I mean, I get that you're twins, I get that, but it just seems like there's a karma thing here. What do you think, Sibyl?
Yeah, this is about energy boundaries and emotional boundaries and separating yourself, not being hostile. I mean, if you have to separate hostile and angry, then do it any way you can. But that would be like the first stage of like setting boundaries, of having a self, of recognizing yourself and looking at karmically, like, how did I play this role before? And but don't be a victim to it. I feel like there's a mother-child issue before, or yeah. So we ultimately want to forgive. I know when I say the F word, people are like, I don't want to do that. I just want to feel better. I don't want to. But forgiveness is really for you, so that you're not angry and giving all your power and energy away to this person in a situation that's basically stolen your life. Oh, she's paralyzed. I know. So you need to be there for her. So part of this is like, look, so you're of service. You're here of service to her. But then when she passes, or at some point, we want to let go of this, because what you resist persists. We don't want to come back again and do this again with her. Like, really? Can we get this done? So this is for anybody who's in a relationship with somebody like, I hate this person, I can't get rid of them, and I'm married to them, or they're my family member, or whatever. So you don't want to resist them. And if you say to them, stop doing this, they'll go like, what are you talking about? They don't understand they're abusive or they're clingy or whatever it is that the issues are. But you're the one that's in pain. So you're the one that needs to set the boundaries, take really good care of yourself. And then it's however you can. And then at some point, energetically release this, because if you hold it against them or the situation, it's like you're holding the energy and you're resisting the energy and it can't release. See?
Right.
So we're talking about an energy level release, but that will really help you with your physical health, your happiness, and your peace. You know?
And you're familiar with Ho'oponopono, Sibyl, the Ho'oponopono prayer?
No.
I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. It's powerful. Yeah. And so she's been doing a lot of that. I think Sibyl's 100% right with everything she's saying. I would just add something that Sibyl kind of touched on, because Sibyl's making such a really important point that I want to add extra emphasis to, which is, look, when your sister is gone, you're going to have to move forward as well, right? And so we want to work on this energy, not necessarily external, but energy. I want you to pick up her energy inside of your body and place it back in her body. Just practice doing that in your head, like without, you can move your arms if she's not aware of it. Pick it up and gently put it back in her and say, you belong over here, okay? I'm going to let you be in your body for a while. And maybe when she's asleep, you can say that. But I think this is one way to sort of begin that process and physically, right? The other thing the spirit guides are saying is how you want to get through this resentment and through this care, because all caretakers have resentment. I mean, it's just an insane job, right? What I want you to do is every day do one nice thing for you. So that gets you out of this. No one is noticing that I'm doing the work. Nobody asked about me. So instead of like waiting for other people to say, gosh, you've done a great job of taking care of your sister, she's so lucky to have you, you're going to do it to you. You're going to actually say to you, I've done a good job of taking care of my sister. You know what? Today, I'm going to see if a volunteer can come in. That's another thing, is don't get caught up in that I'm the only one that can be there. You've got to start separating. So a volunteer comes in, a friend comes in, another family member comes in, and you get another hour off. You've got to start separating from her and from you being the sole caretaker. All these are steps that you should do. And then add a little something nice to yourself. Maybe if you like flavored coffee, go get a nice coffee. If you want to get your nails done, go get your nails done. Even if you're saying, well, they just get messed up. I don't care. It's not about judging. It's about, for 30 minutes, for 45 minutes, I went and had a hand massage done. Whatever it is, right? Do something nice for yourself. That's the first key. Instead of waiting for everybody else to recognize you, you recognize you.
And also, if you do chanting or humming or singing, it's like kind of like a prayer. But if you say the same thing over and over, it erases energy. So you can erase karma within yourself. So we want you happy, and singing or chanting would really benefit you. And it reminds me of this one gal I was working with, and she had an abusive relationship with her mother. She was a therapist, and she was like, I can't stand her. But I'm like, well, stop calling her every week and spending an hour on the phone while she says these awful things to you. And it was making her physically ill, because her mother used to do things to make her ill or take her to the doctor. It was a horrible, long story. And so when she died, I said, you're going to feel better. And she did. And the mother came to her and apologized in the death state when she passed. And so, it's just, and a lot of the issues went away. But it reminds me, too, of that story from the Bible where there were two women that Jesus, I'm not religious, so please forgive me, but it's just a story that he went to visit. And one was serving the food, running around, taking care of everybody, doing everything. And the other one was sitting there visiting. And that would be me, the one that's responsible and doing everything. I have to do everything for everybody, and running around and then resenting the other one. She's sitting there laughing and they're having fun. And why isn't anyone paying attention to me? And it was her that was doing it to herself. And so I had to realize, oh my God, I'm doing this. Why do I think I have to, like, people could get up and get their own food if they're hungry. I don't have to run. Are you hungry? Are you want this? You know, running around. And I didn't even know how I felt or what I wanted. Like, what do you want? And so it's about developing yourself. You're like, what do you want? Like Susan was saying, taking care of yourself, getting your nails done, going and doing something for yourself. That's not about her. Like, what do you want to do? What makes you feel good? And looking at, like, when you asked me, like, how do you feel? What do you want? I had no idea. I knew what everybody else needed and wanted, and I was going to give it to them, whether they wanted it or not.
Right. So that's a good message for everybody. That's a good message. That's a great message. Everybody can learn from that, right?
Yeah. All right.
I hope that helps, Gusty Guru. I'm going to go to Sophia Barb. You guys, Spirit just tells me who to go to. They just like draw me, and I can't.
You're all worthy. It's just, and when whoever's getting a reading, that will benefit you, because there's a reason certain people are picked, because the messages help the most. So you're getting it too. If you're hearing somebody else's, think of like, wow, that sounds
it's for you,
like what I've been dealing with. Yeah. So that's why they're being picked, not because some people are special or whatever and others. That's not right.
Yeah. Okay. So her birthday is 1/29/1991. January 29, 1991. She says, my life has been so stagnant for most of it. Is that part of a past life thing? Yeah. You're stuck. You're kind of stuck a little bit. It wasn't stuck in the beginning. It was kind of nice. I mean, sometimes having a life that's chill is like, not like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes we're happy to be bored. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I'm good with this stretch. But then it starts to get old, right? I think that's where you are now. Is it you're starting to bust out of this cocoon. You know, you're like, I might have to get out of this thing. What are you picking up on there, Sibyl?
Well, when I look at Sophie Barb, is that one name? Sophia
Barb.
Okay. When I look at you, Sophia, I'm seeing an hourglass in your second chakra. Like one of those things where time, like that you hold and then the sand goes through.
Know what it is. Yeah.
Like the sands of time. And so I'm feeling like there's things going on around your feminine, your creative, you're also somebody who's very connected to family and mother, and you may feel like it's hard to get out or do your life purpose because you haven't done that before. You've been in past lives where you've stayed in family and at home. It may have been in situations where you had to do that. I feel like I'm picking up something around India. It feels like that's a very old culture. So it feels something like that to me. And it feels like the first sense I got is you're playing a game with time and space, which is the game here of like, if you make it a game and have fun with because you're very much connected to that child part or that younger part of yourself that feels like, maybe like it's boring and I'm stuck when it's just an energy. So if you play a game with it or go out and try different things, so is she stuck? I also feel like this is kind of a theme here. Like there's something going on with your personal power in your third chakra, like that makes you feel like you're stuck. And there we come back to, I end karma with whatever or the energy is that's keeping me stuck. I release that in all time and directions and stamp your foot. I release this in all time and directions and allow, so the energy will more allow you to move forward. Okay.
Sophia Barb, is your mom still here? Is she on the other side or is she here? There's also a break with your mom, like either an energetic break or a physical break in the sense that you move away or there's some sort of break here that I can't understand. But it's important because that energy, and I think you either have a sister, there's somebody else, there's another female. Let me know about that. Is there another female around? She's here. My mom is a very competent person, and I always feel like I couldn't match her. Okay, so there's a break. Your identity needs to be separate from her, right? Like that. It's the same thing. Like Sibyl was talking about this childhood, and I'm not trying to say you're childish. I'm trying to say that because you really couldn't ever live up to her, you kind of never wanted to be an adult. You never wanted to even try, because why try? She's just going to be less than. It's just not going to work, right? So when they say break, they mean identity break. So create a different identity that you can be, that your mom can't say anything about. It's, you don't give your mom that kind of power. And you create this separate identity. You may have to even keep it quiet from her. You may have to do this kind of like on the down low a little bit, just to protect it. Because when we're doing something new, it's vulnerable. And people that have our, your parents, your family, they know where the button is. They can get to us like nobody else can get to us, right? So you may need to grow it up. You may need to sort of protect it like a sapling until it gets, stronger until you feel strong enough that no matter what she says, you're not going to worry about it. But I feel like you don't know what to do, Sophia. I feel like you're like, well, that'd be great, but I don't know where to go or what to do. Are you picking up anything on that?
Yeah. So we match people on our crown chakra or with our breath. So if you don't know what that means, you can just use your intention. Like, I'm unmatching her. You don't want to match her. You want to be who you are. You're developing who you are. I understand, but no sister, but younger brother was very sick, and I was about to enter adulthood and had to help take care of him. And you're absolutely right, Susan. Okay. Yeah. So, you also might be a person who's an achiever. When you have to take care of somebody when you're younger, that creates something in people where they become achievers, or they get disconnected from their own feelings, because these are people who are taking care of other people. Like I was talking about, I didn't know how I felt or what I wanted. So it's important to understand what you would like to. I'm actually getting like, start talking to the stars, make a wish, make it like, what do you wish for? Do not match her. And I'm sorry you had to take care of your brother, but also notice synchronistic events. And they also might have something with crystals. I feel like you're connected with crystals, and they can help you make energy breaks. Like, I have a black tourmaline. Not that people are bad. It's just that I don't want to pick up their energy. Or crystals that match crown chakra. Like, I have an angel light crystal here. So something that might not be the angel light, but something that is for crown chakra. And so you're unmatching these people. So don't match them, but find out like who you are and what you want to do, and you can have fun with it. You can make it a game. That's why you're here, to learn and grow. We all are here learning and growing. And this is just something that where you've had many past lives where you just stayed with the family and you didn't really get to explore who you were outside of that. And this is your life lesson, to get outside of the family, not to match them, hopefully you're not taking care of the brother right now. And I appreciate that you did that. You needed to do that. But you're here to go out and do your own thing. Like, what do you wish for? What is, like, I feel like you don't know, like, okay, I've been very numb. Yeah. You disconnected from your feelings. And I carry black tourmaline. It
Nice.
grounds me. Now, obsidian is grounding for me, but black tourmaline, cool. If it grounds you, cool. Yeah, that can ground you. So that's good. I feel like you're connected to the crystals. But yeah, it might be like, have you ever seen those little pictures? Like, I used to, like, they gave that to me. Like, how do you feel? Because I didn't know, like, how do I feel? I don't know. And then a happy face, a sad face, and excited. Like, how do I feel? So I'd have to figure out, okay, how do I feel? And then, like, is that other people's feelings, or how is, what are my feelings? And then what do I so it's like, what am I thinking that caused that feeling? So, but I feel like you kind of like shut that part off. So anything you can do to be creative or create something or enjoy your body or do things like massage or give yourself a hug or things that are more feeling or body or touching orientated. So you can start to know, like, how do you feel? What's not their feelings, you might need to kind of take some breaks from them and just,
Yes.
go out and be around some other people or something,
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to be doing, getting out in life, whether it's career or around other people that are not your family. Not that you don't love them and you still can be around them, but it's like discovering who you are, or
Right.
how you feel.
Right.
Because you can.
I love that Sibyl said have fun with it. That's exactly it. Like dabble, make a crystal grid, pick up crystals and see which one wants to work with you today. Maybe you might be surprised if you have a couple of different crystals. You might find that this one wants to work with you today. How do you know that? Well, you pick it up and you go, how does this one feel? Okay. How does this one feel? Is one heavier or lighter? Is one warmer or cooler? Do I feel like, so you're connecting to your body when you do that. You're teaching yourself how things feel. So now you can also check into you. How do I feel about this crystal? I promise you guys, if y'all start doing that, you'll start going, oh, this one doesn't want to work with me today. Well, okay. You put it back on your desk. You're like, my bad. I'm so sorry. Right. But this is part of it. We have to just experiment and play, and that's how we learn. Hopefully that was helpful to you, dear. Now people are asking crystal questions. Jack wants to know if crystals lose their energy. I don't think so. You can recharge them, right, Sibyl? You can recharge them with sage or moonlight or depending on the type of crystal it is.
Well, if you've had somebody else's crystal and it hasn't been cleansed before you got it, I've gotten crystals like from my mother or, an ex gave me a gift. I'm like, now I got to get back to. Well, I buried it in the backyard for a year. I had this big basketball sized obsidian, and I buried it in the backyard and it came back to me, and I have it right down here. So now it's mine because it was cleansed in the earth for a year. Other crystals I buried back there, the earth took them. I'm like, okay, it won't give it back. My mother's amethyst is gone. No. If it comes back, it's cool. Otherwise, it went to the earth because nothing is really ours anyway. But so cleanse them with sage or Allison is the crystal gal, and she knows how to work with crystals and talk to crystals. But like I have these, what are these called? Psychic stones. These I hold in my hand when I do
labradorite. Labradorite.
But anyway, if you have a crystal that somebody else had, you bought it online or you don't know where it came from or even the store, the way it was processed. So if it's an amethyst and you put it out in the sun, it could bleach it. But a lot of crystals can be out in the sun for 4 hours or more or during a full moon. You don't have to bury it unless it's really been from somebody who the relationship was very toxic.
Ex. If your ex gave you a crystal, you need to bury that sucker.
Like I have people who come to me, I'm like, I can't get rid of my ex. He's energetically attached to me. And I'm like, whose ring are you wearing? Oh, that's my wedding ring. I'm like, from that ex? Yeah, but I'm talking about him. I'm like, oh yeah. Well,
things you should never show up to your psychic doing.
Or they have a big statue in their living room. Like, where did that come from? Oh, that's the ex, but never mind that. We need to get rid of him. He's suing me now. I'm like, get it, sell it, take
it out in the yard. Now we're going to do your session. Now that we've got this and sage and everything. Now we're
you're still So
yeah, full moon.
Crystals can't take your energy. They can't take your energy unless there's something that needs to be cleansed on there. And I know people say all kinds of things like that, but talk to the crystal. If you get a bad feeling, it's like it's not working for you, I would trust that. But that's rare. Generally not. Crystals are here to help us. What's this?
Beverly just said she buried her crystal too and the earth took it. Thank you, Matt, for putting Allison's website in there. And thank you, moderators. Really appreciate it. Yeah, selenite is another way. Like this is like a selenite. You can put something, you can put your crystals on this. But the things that you use to power your crystals also need to be cleaned. Like if you're, you know what I mean? Like if you're using a sponge all the time, sometimes you have to kind of clean it out, right? So
that's a great crystal for past life class, because selenite is salt from worlds that were here before this one.
Really? This?
Yes.
And this?
Yeah. Yeah. Yours look clean. Mine looks like, I didn't think selenite needed to be cleansed, so I haven't been cleansing my selenite.
Oh,
but it also repels negativity. What?
It's got funk on it. You got funky selenite.
Oh, shoot. Okay. I got it. Because if you put it in water, it'll start dissolving. You can't put selenite in salt water.
That's why in some, you don't want to put salt on some of them. So you really have to kind of like do a little research. Okay.
Right.
But generally speaking, moonlight is good. Sage is good.
Yeah.
And if it's really crazy, put it in the ground and make a GPS, I guess. Like, don't, figure out where you left it.
And if it goes to the earth, a lot of times when earth is swallowing up stuff, it's like you go in my backyard and go up to your knee. I'm like, the earth is angry and it wants something. So we want to, I never get power outages. I never get fire evacuated here. I barely get shook by an earthquake. So make an offering. You made an offering. You gave it to the earth. So it's like making an offering. It's like an ancient ceremony. Because when it's taking stuff, it's angry. It wants something. It's like sucking stuff up, like those sinkholes and wherever.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where the earth is angry.
Wow. It's taking okay. That's very interesting. Okay, let's do one or two more readings. We've been on here for an hour. It's fascinating. Yeah. Fascinating talking to you guys. Also, in the description, you can find Sibyl's information, her website, her YouTube channel. We have a class coming up this weekend. I just want to say I'm pumped about the class because Sibyl has this system where she can kind of tell you and help you understand if you're a fairy energy or a mermaid energy or a old soul. I mean, it's fascinating. It's really fascinating. So anyway, we have this class coming up this weekend. We've got some spots open, but you can find the information in the description.
And we're also going to do a past life regression to go back and experience the most recent past lives you had or the issues that you're dealing with, so that you can, meet yourself and see, and have a better understanding of who you are and what the issues are that you're dealing with. So we're also going to be connecting is your soul from another planet. So that is a lot of that is, it's from different teachers that I've learned, and I do these. It's also a little bit of my own with my guides. But when you sit with a teacher and you have permission, then it opens you up. So a lot of the things that I do is from sitting with somebody who has those skills, and then it's like it'll activate that part in you. It's like you're knocking on the door of your soul going, okay, who am I? What am I learning here? How can this? And it's also, like I've explained, very practical to help you in your current life, because I like those readings that are like, it's not just about, love and light, whatever, because how does that help you now?
Let's fix this.
Yeah, it has to be something that's going to pertain to your life and your development and your understanding of who you are. So,
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so we have something on the screen. Psycho Chica. I can't even read that because my glasses. But anyway, my dad, Frank, born April 22nd, 1963. He is with her right now. Can he have a past life reading? So April 22nd, 1963. Immediately, I don't know which past life this is. I'm just telling you what I'm getting. I'm getting a boat, admiral. An admiral. I mean, anyway, it doesn't matter. Admiral could mean just some kind of captain, but they're telling me an admiral on a boat. Like, did they have admirals back in Bonaparte? Who in the heck is Bonaparte? Bonaparte. I don't know. Is that French? I don't know. Anyway, that's what they're telling me. He had, so it would be interesting to know, because if they're coming through with this past life, either you love boats you're fascinated by them. You like don't want to get on one, but you maybe built ships models, or you watch history shows about them, or you love them and you had them. I mean, but there's going to be a connection to boats. It could also be that you're afraid of it, because I haven't gotten into that. But you were very strong. I mean, you were very like what is your name, Frank? You were very you had like a barrel chest. I don't know if you're still shaped like this, but you had like a barrel chest. And you weren't like a big guy. You weren't a big guy, but you were like kind of a square, kind of a stout guy. You had light colored eyes, and you might have had sandy colored hair or lighter colored hair, like medium light brown, and it was straight. That's coming through, but I also see that you had some other past lives where you had darker hair, straighter nose, maybe in a whole different scenario. Okay, so he likes anything about the water. Okay, so that is going to answer a lot of y'all's questions in the chat. And Sibyl talked about this in the beginning of the show. If you find yourself fascinated with Ireland, you've had a past life there. If you're terrified of water, guess what's happened? You can pretty much put that together, right? You had a really bad ending around water, maybe multiple bad endings around water, and now you're like, that's it. It's like what Sibyl said earlier, like she had a bad ending around sharks, and she's like, no, thank you. Don't need that in my life, right? So those are indications of past life energy. What else are you getting about him, Sibyl?
Yeah, I'm feeling like past lives where he had like notoriety, where he was like center of attention. He may have been even connected with some kind of royalty. Like I see like a trident, like some kind of king of the sea or something. I feel like almost like Neptune, that was the king of the sea, like this mermaid energy with a trident. It's really, but I feel like in this life, people aren't really recognizing you always. They don't recognize who you are, so it's different. It's like you're more in the general population. You're not like this amazing character that they can see. And so but I also feel like there's lots of things around the heart for you. I feel like a big chest. I feel like a big hearted person, but I feel like there are issues around the heart chakra, or feeling like you're really appreciated or loved. And because in these other lifetimes, I feel like you were very loved, very connected to the water, very, just like this bright light. And now you may have done that in this life, but
it's respect. I think what it is respect. I'm
okay,
not sure he always gets the. I'm not sure he always gets the amount of respect that you, as his daughter, would say that he's due. I think he's well liked. He's well loved. I think he's respected. But I think you probably would say he should be more respected for what he does.
Yeah.
Oh, and so has had heart failure in the past. Okay.
Oh, heart failure. Yeah, I did pick up things around heart. So that would mean like making sure you're getting the right vitamins, potassium, magnesium. I'm not a doctor. I can't prescribe that, but check that with your doctor. Doing things like walking, but feeling a love in your heart. And I feel like now this is a very difficult lesson. And sometimes older souls choose more difficult lessons. We all think this is the hardest one when we're in it. Like, but you can totally do this. But part of this karmic lesson that you're learning, Frank, is to love others, to give love when, and you kind of bring the energy and lighten people up. So people have fun, and we're back to fun, has humor and fun. And then you're feeling their energy and they're feeling good, and you have this energy exchange. So that it's like that inner child, that playful energy. When you bring that, then everybody feels better. But it really is about love, and it's even about loving people when you don't feel, or respecting them even when they're not giving it back. And there it is. There
it is. So was there a heartbreak, a divorce, even a heartbreak early on before he got married? And you know what I mean? Like there's a heartbreak somewhere. And now I think you're a little, and I don't blame you. This is no judgment, because God knows I'm just a full on mess. But anyway, you know, there is a little bit of like stinginess around like being vulnerable. Like I'd rather just not your surface. Like I'm happy.
You can't do that.
You know,
Yeah.
but I don't want to be super vulnerable. Does
Yeah,
that make
I've
any
had-
sense?
Yeah. What?
I was just asking them, Frank, if that heartbreaking marriage. There it is. Yep, there it is.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Frank. I'm sorry, dear. But listen to Sibyl. This is the key. Okay. So this is the key for your life. And it is being vulnerable in love. So where can you be vulnerable in love right now? Like you might, I'm just telling you what they're telling me. Don't shoot the messenger, but you might go get a foster animal. And you might even get an old foster animal, like that's on its last leg, and give it unconditional love, knowing that that damn thing is gonna die on you, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's healing it. Like, okay, I'm gonna love this animal. I'm gonna love this animal, even though I know that it might not last that long. That to me, that heals that energy. Does that make sense, Sybil?
Yeah. Definitely.
Is there anything else is there any other way that you can suggest that he heal this?
Yeah, I mean, animals teach us how to love unconditionally. Even when they're not getting it back, they still love you. And so I feel like this would be healing for his heart, for him, and for the animal. And yeah, because people, yeah, what?
It's yeah, I'm just so beautiful.
Yeah. That reminds me, I've been thinking about getting it. I have the same, I've had my heart broken too. So we're reading you because we understand, we, been there, been there, I know that I don't know your pain, but I know what that's like, to have a painful divorce. And I grew up in a family where I didn't feel what?
Getting your heart broken is just.
Yeah, but that's where the light gets in. The breaks are where the light gets in. So your most painful things are actually your strengths. When you walk through it and heal it, there's a lesson in there. There's something in there for you. Sometimes it takes many lifetimes. In this energy, as fast as it's moving, we can do this. Like, I feel like I've had several lifetimes in this life, like in the last 2 years of like, yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's like energy's moving. He has a cat named George. I love it.
I love that, but you might need to up the ante. There's something else that you can do to extend your heart more, like I don't know, plants. I don't know, something that you can love on and feel okay being vulnerable with it. That would be really helpful for Frank in this lesson. Okay. It's not the end of the world. If you don't do it, it's not the end of the world, but it is here. The lesson is here. It's ready to be learned. It's queued up, ready to go. And why not do it? Right? Just why not do it? Okay. Maybe I don't know.
We're sending love to all of you.
We're sending love to everybody. Absolutely. Sybil, do you have gas in your tank for one more, or how are you doing?
One more. We'll do one more.
All right. I'm sorry. There's 750 people here. It's fascinating topic.
I love
it. You guys,
I love it. Yeah.
And I hope you guys are learning about how this. And I do want to say again, what Sibyl said was so important. We should all write it down right now. The cracks, the heartbroken cracks, is where the light gets in. Do you guys know how important that is? Like, that's just knowing that, I think, can help us begin to heal and accept our brokenness. That's beautiful. I mean, Sybil, that is beautiful. Somebody's going to have to remind me, but I got to write that down. Okay. Anyway, you can heal a past life in all different ways. I mean, Sibyl's given you several different, we've talked about different ways. Reiki can help you a little bit.
Reiki can
everything can help you.
You can do it in an instant with the awareness, like, wow, I'm doing this and I want to use my intention to clear it. You can do it energetically, or you can walk through your life, and it's different for every issue and every person, you know. And sometimes, like astrology, like, is your astrology open for that now? If you're getting awareness of it, it might be time, you know. And so just having that awareness that like, I have karma, I have issues, like, what are the most difficult things you're dealing with? What are the things that you love? Those are the things that you're learning, and that's your karma. It's not that mean you did something bad. It's just like, that is the lessons that you came in that you're working on. Sometimes we've been working on them for many lifetimes. And this energy, we're cleaning out now. We're just like, it's on fast forward. We're just doing it. Yeah. So here we are. Terry Phillips. Oh.
Yep, Terry Phillips. Okay, here's our last one. You guys, I wish I could spend all night talking to you guys. It's fascinating. But it's a little bit exhausting to read energy. So Terry Phillips says, am I just a backfill person or a perpetual misfit? The date is August 28th, 1957. I would just already tell you, you're not a backfill person. This is not that. We each come with our own unique soul blueprint, our own unique soul contract, our own unique, beautiful possibilities. But it's interesting that you feel like you're a misfit. That sounds like a starseed to me. What do you think, Sibyl? What would you say about it?
Well, there's starseeds that have come in from other planets that have been coming here for a long time. I'm a Pleiadian that came here in the time of Lemuria. This is an old soul. I know you, girlfriend. I know you, Terry. Yeah. So sometimes old souls choose difficult patterns. I don't know what you mean by a backfill person, a perpetual misfit. Okay. But you've been coming here a long time, and you're probably a starseed that's been coming here for a long time. And so I'm not really sure what the question is. Am I a backfill?
The question is, why does she feel like she's a perpetual misfit?
Maybe
and also,
you are.
I would just, yeah, I know. I would just say, is there a distinction? Because I feel like there is, but I want to know your opinion, between a starseed like you that's been coming here for a long time and a starseed like me that's not been here very long. Because I feel like as a new energy incarnating on Earth, as a relatively new energy incarnating on Earth, I don't fit in because I haven't had 100 lifetimes to try on all the various, sort of clothes of different lives, and specifically Earth lives. Earth is a very different place. It's a very dense place. It's a very heavy place. It's just people are just weird and different. I feel like a misfit, and I feel like that would be you. I'm an old soul, but I'm relatively new to Earth. So right. Do you feel like that with her? Do you feel like she could be?
Oh, she's an old soul on this Earth.
On this Earth. Okay. So I wonder why so she chose the energy this time to be a misfit. You chose to be a, what do they call that? When you vibrate differently and you kind of distort that, you kind of agitate. You're kind of like an agitator.
Well, I would say for a lot of starseeds, stop trying to fit in. If you're a misfit, be a misfit, be different. That's a gift. And true. So part of your journey is looking for who you are and to be who you are, and not trying to fit in with what society. So when you stop doing that, you'll start to discover who you are, and you can own it, that I am the misfit. I was the black sheep of my family. They're like, oh yeah. And they dumped everything on me, all their projected stuff, until I said, wait a minute, I'm a bright light. I can shine my light. And they're like, oh, no. You need to, you should have been a physical therapist. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? And I listened, luckily this time I listened to myself. Now in past lives, you couldn't be a misfit because they had the witch trials. So you had to fit in, you had to be a certain way. In some societies, you can't, in America, we have a lot of freedom still here. to be who we are. You don't have to. I mean, so if you're, I don't know if that's how that's fitting in here, but it's part of when you're an older soul is you either have intensity or you have heartbreak. We talked about heartbreak because you've seen a lot. And so really tuning in to yourself and co-creating with your guides is one of the things you can do, and stop worrying about what everybody else is thinking or trying to fit in, because you that's what I used to do, bend myself into a pretzel to try to be the chameleon to everything, to everybody, and that doesn't work. So you're here to be yourself. If that's a misfit, then own who you are. I feel like you're co-creating with your guides and connecting with your guides and guiding you through daily, because things are done one step at a time. Sometimes we can make a big, huge change, but it's like, I feel like it's a daily guidance or weekly or monthly guidance of like, okay, tuning into that. And it's also like, what do you intend for yourself? Like, who put this label on you of misfit or backfill or whatever? That's just an energy. It's not the truth of who you are. And so who do you want to be? How are you connecting with yourself and who you are? And that's what a lot of past life work is. It's like having a self of knowing who you are, and you're not a projection of whatever people said, well, you're this or you're that, unless you want to be this or that, Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think that's a really good point, because when we talk about, look, it's cool to know that you had a past life in Egypt or you had a past life in Lemuria. I mean, it's cool to know that. But what Sibyl and I, if you can't tell, what we're interested in is solving problems. So we go from, okay, yeah, you had a past life in Lemuria, but what does that mean now? What is coming up now in your life that could be reminiscent of a past life, right? So when you guys find, if you even go on YouTube, and you do a past life meditation, and you go, what? I saw myself married to this person and this thing was going on. Write that down. Don't let it just be like, I don't know what that was about. Write it down. And then you're going to have an awareness. Oh my God, that's kind of the same pattern that I had as a child. Or, oh my God, that's the same pattern that I have with my boss. The pattern is the key. That's the lesson. That's the thing that you're trying to work through. So you can figure this out on your own, actually. And anywhere in your life where you have patterns, is your boss treat you the same as your first husband? Does your wife treat you the same as your mother? That's a pattern. Universe is trying to tell you something.
Did anybody else hear that voice just right after I was talking?
I feel like I did.
There was a voice. There was something came on here that was audible. I feel like these are guides trying to talk to you.
Wow.
There's a female guide around you, Terry, that wants to communicate with you. And if you don't hear it, it might be that you just get a feeling. I feel like you're claircognizant, like you get a download, like you know things. When you get yourself out of the way, you'll know things about people or situations. That's your energy type. And so you do have intuitive or psychic abilities, but I feel like this either higher self or guide person is really trying to connect with you, so much that it was an audible sound that I heard. I heard it. If you replay this from a few minutes ago, you'll hear this, like there was a voice that came on there that was not Susan and was not me.
Wow.
So, yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure which link is not working, but I'm going to put it right here. But you can also, so it's right here in the thing, in the chat, but it should be in the description. I'll double check to make sure it's correct in the description, but you can always go to my website, which is SusanLynnMedium.com, and find the same link. Okay.
The link
Jimmy,
for what?
for the class.
Okay.
Kimmy
And
J
writing
said
it
on
down
her
is,
phone-
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Writing it down is so important because you're putting back the pieces of who you are. And spirit doesn't waste a message. If you're getting something and you think, oh, it's just, I don't know. But write it down. It's so important because they're giving you the message. There's a message in there for you. There's something about you that's coming through. Okay, excuse me. Go ahead.
No. Other people heard that audible thing as well. So it was probably at the 1 hour and 20-minute mark. We're at 1 hour 25 minutes, so it's probably right around there. If anybody wants to scroll back or scroll forward or whatever and heard it. Yeah, they just wanted to hear the message about patterns, right? A lot of people heard it. Interesting. That's fascinating. Good job, you guys. Very good. So hopefully, when we read these, read you guys, hopefully you guys can see how the same information can work for you, right? Because this is what it's all about. This is we're here. We're here to learn. Sometimes we get stuck. Sometimes we're moving really fast. Sometimes things are going haywire. Take a break, take a breath, ask for guidance, look at the patterns.
And there's a reason why you're here. You're not just a meat suit, or it's not the hamburger universe where you can hopefully get up to a cloud and watch, angels playing harps for the rest of eternity. That's a long time, the rest of eternity. So you're more than maybe who you think you are. You think you're just this, there's so much more to you. And it's really important to connect with that. And there's a reason why you're here. You're needed. You're loved by your guides. You are forever. Think of how that would change, like, people's ideas about sexism or different races. You've been every sex there's two. Maybe there's transgender. Gay. Maybe there's more than two. There's you've been every race. So how can you be prejudiced? So a lot of this stuff that we've been taught is just malarkey. It's just like, wait, what? We can go to heaven and sit on a cloud looking at God in the pearly forever. And it's just ridiculous. It's called the hamburger universe. Or you're a meat suit. You came here by accident, and then so there's so much more to you. There's a reason why you are here, and we are here to wake up the earth, to move to a better place. That's why all this stuff is happening now, because we are here. We chose to be here to bring in this new age. And part of this new age is about you knowing who you are, the truth of who you are, which is you are a divine being that is eternal. You are forever. There's so much more to you than maybe you recognized. And we've been kind of dumbed down, put to sleep, take a sleeping pill and go to, like antidepressants or whatever. I'm not saying don't talk to your doctor about medication, but I'm saying there's so much more to you than what we've been taught about who we are and what we're doing here. And so this is really important. It's your life mission. It's why you're here. And there's so many good things also that you can, talents, gifts, what you love, people, connecting with people, learning about love, loving yourself, having relationships, learning, remembering skills, things that you've done in other times. And so so anyway, thank you so much. I really enjoyed doing this show with you. It was awesome.
You're welcome.
Really
and that stuff she's saying is for all of you guys. That's not just for the last person we were reading. When we're reading for somebody, it's for everybody. Okay. So if it makes sense, it's yours, right? If you're like, that resonates with me, then it's for you. Okay. Naomi, if I was told if I knew what I was in a past life, I would get it right here on earth. Listen, Naomi, here's the thing, right? It's not, I agree with you. Like, I'm like, let me pass the test so I can go to the hamburger universe. But as Sibyl just said, there's no damn hamburger universe. So she just blew my worldview. But anyway, it's not about getting it right. It's really about just loving yourself. If you guys want to know, boils down to when you love yourself, that actually puts you in the right resonance with the creator, with everything. So work on that. Just work on being gentle with yourself, not being self-critical. Work on giving yourself the cheerleading, giving yourself the care. If you will do that, it will fix a lot of the stuff that's wrong in your life out there. It starts in here, and it starts like that. Be gentle with yourself, cheerlead yourself, say, I am loved, I am worthy of love. Make that your mantra. I promise you it'll change your life.
That's right. This is the love planet. We came here to learn about love. So yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look like it, I know, but that's because
we kind of look at what humans have done. That's why all us volunteers have showed up to come help out, because look at what the humans have done. And like, things have not been going too good here, you know?
Yeah.
So, well, here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
We love it. We love this place. Yeah. All right, everybody. You guys take really, really good care. Thank you guys for showing up tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We send you our love, and we'll see you again really soon. Okay. Take really good care, everybody.